us and we wish our parents would understand or were able to give us. Yeah, let's get into it. And for that, I have a very special guest. Another drum roll, please. Mr. Daniel Ezioha.
Yeah. Okay, so Gen Z's tell me what liberties do you truly crave for and wish you had because you're a teenager?
First of all, you know, the society that the Gen Zs were born into was a society of freedom. We were born to believe that we were born in a time where freedom was adamant. Like it was everywhere. Everybody wants and strives for freedom. And I think the first thing that most Gen Z people would, if you ask them, will wish for is freedom. Freedom in most areas, freedom in their movement. They don't want to be tied down. They want to feel like they have a part of their life. They don't want the steering taken off them. They want to be able to drive with their parents. They want to be able to have inputs in their own lives, not to feel like their lives are being stripped of them um anymore.
Oh yeah, because the Gen Z is like the team of Gen Z is the technology. So we are all based on technology. We are technology oriented. So personally, I think that parents shouldn't always. I won't say they always do, it, but like they should give some access to technology to their children because
Yeah,
without technology, like we are the team of Gen Z is
yeah, it's
useless.
pointless.
It's
Yeah.
pointless. So parents should at least give access to technology to their children. I'm not saying that they should give them everything in the whole wide world, provide all the everything, but at least they should have some certain access to some devices and
Yeah.
also less restriction of devices because
Mm.
you find out that people we love going on the internet, getting information from the internet. So if all those things are stripped away from us, there's nothing that we can do. We can't help ourselves. Because we always want to look for more information. We are trying to learn new things every day, and the
Yeah.
internet is something that helps us every day. So
Yeah.
parents shouldn't exactly restrict the devices
So
from their
so
children.
you're telling me if the if you strip access to some of these things, the Gen Z becomes nearly useless to himself or herself.
Yeah, basically, yeah, that's like basic point of Gen Z. No, I'm not saying that we become useless, but we have grown up. Like the surrounding and the time and era we are is in a tech world. As you can see, we are advancing in technology. So you cannot be in a generation that is advancing in technology and behind the technology. It feels weird when you're with your peers. You won't have the same. You're going to be miles behind because everybody has to catch up to a certain level of technology. And if you're a generation that is pioneering that movement, you have to be part of them. You cannot be behind while your mates are pioneering the movement. 15-year-olds are building robots. So I think it is a basic that the child should be allowed to access internet.
But
It's just a
is there a
choice.
downside to that? Really, because while I agree with you that your generation is technology driven,
Mm.
and while I also agree that you were born in a generation where there's so many tech toys,
Mm.
um, is that not a downside to that? Because some will argue that the generation has poor social skills
Mm.
because they are so into gadgets
Yeah.
um, that they don't have robust engagement socially. Um, so, what do you have to say about that? Uh, that that obsession with gadgets, with the internet, that completely shuts your generation off
Mm.
from meaningful interaction, even with family members.
Before I let her speak, I would just love to put a little input on this. Um, I think that's where balance comes in once again. I talked about balance earlier. We should learn to balance everything. Parents should monitor them and make sure their lives are balanced because you cannot allow a child be on the screen all day. That's not possible. You should monitor them, allow them to have a balance in activities. After this certain hour, they should be able to change activities. But you shouldn't limit it per se that you can only have it for 30 minutes. That is that one. But for them to have it, it's not like they say, too much of everything is bad
Yeah.
and too little of everything is bad. So
Yeah.
like you should have a very good proportion of it. You should not give them 72 hours on the internet straight up. But 7 hours a day is not too much to ask for. From the point they come back from school to seven, even from morning to evening, 7 hours a day is not too much to ask for. I'm not saying 7 hours at a go. I never said that. 7 hours a day. It could be 2 hours at a go, then 2 hours then a break, then change of activities. But at least they should be able to access it. If you have any.
Same
So,
thing.
so what other liberties and freedom or access you wish your parents uh, give more?
This one is not my parents to per se, but it's the view that people have in general. People despise and they chase the way Gen Z dress. I'm not saying that all Gen Z dress properly, because as you can see, there are some people that dress very wild out there. But there are some people that they don't dress bad. Their dressing is actually good. But the way people see it, they have this, they have this past understanding that and their generation didn't dress like this, so we're not allowed to dress like that. You see, fashion sense moves on per time. In the 90s, it was all suit and tie. Now it's long. In the last generation, it was all long sleeve. Our own generation is going to have our own dress pattern, our dress. So you guys should be, I think the world in general should be able to adapt to when you see someone that is not dressing bad, you should be able to see okay and say okay. But you see someone that is dressing bad, you can chastise them. But people that are not dressing bad, you see, I don't think there's anything wrong.
No, but we must understand there's a big difference between um, trend, fashion trend, and basic sense, basic fashion sense. Sometimes what is trendy don't meet or fit basic fashion sense. But it's a trend. You can have something that's just trendy. Anything trends. Trend is just what has become popular. All right, it has become popular because nearly everyone wants to do it, but it may be popular and not be foundational or meet basic fashion sense. So, for instance, it will not make any sense if you're going to work in an office. Just because you're a Gen Z, decide to have your tie go backwards.
Yeah.
Right? Now that may be trendy, but it is not meeting basic fashion sense, especially in that work environment. So my thinking is that your generation must really learn to understand that we don't live all the time on trend. Trend should be built on a foundation. That foundation never changes regardless of time and generation. It will always be there. While I am not against trend, the fashion sense in your generation will be certainly different from ours. But we certainly have some things that has been preserved over the years throughout our generation as basic fashion sense.
I agree with what you've said, yeah. Because you should not, if something is trending, it should be right trend. And if you're going to wear your tie backward, that's wrong. But my own point here is that, like, I've agreed with what you've said, but my own point here is that if they don't come out to work if they come to work without a tie, it's not wrong per se. You could have a shirt that's unbuttoned. Like that's basically, if Gen Z people do stuff like that, are not wrong, I think we should be able to embrace them. But if they do something that is wrong and like they wear their tie backwards, they wear their shirts upside down, we should be able to say no now, that's wrong. But I'm like saying that the basic fashion trends are not wrong, that ones are not wrong, emphasis on not wrong, should be adopted and should be allowed.
Okay.